Good morning. So I'm somewhat excited about this video just because right now we're in election season, and I've been having a lot of conversations with different people talking about what's going to happen, what are the things that we're facing, and there's been somewhat like of a there's been a lot of issues have been arising, but not that this video means anything. Because people still are gonna go on with their lives the best way they can either way. But yeah, like right now, with this election season, obviously we know that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are our nominees for the two respectable parties. Um, and I mean, he's going straight right into it. Like, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Like, that's just what it is. Um, and there are a lot of reasons why I voted for him, and and I understand why people wouldn't, but I think a lot of people just have Trump derangement syndrome, where even if they rationally agree with what he says or his policies or what they're fighting for, they just can't seem to vote for him just because of the name, um, and that's one of the things that is killing us right now, because the Democratic Party can say absolutely anything, do anything, and you guys still will struggle to not vote for this man. Um, but I'll give you some of my reasons. Talk about first, um, and I think this is might be the most important, but I almost have it like ranked number two is war. Um, man, right now during Trump's presidency, like we didn't experience war. We had Trump for 4 years, so it doesn't matter how you feel about his dangerous rhetoric or his mean tweets and all this other nonsense. Like in reality, yes, he doesn't always sound presidential, but I guess he doesn't need to. I actually have way more respect for him being the same person as he was before he became president, moving the same way, talking the same way, as opposed to someone like Barack Obama, who's just going to sell you the dream, and it's such a nice, smooth, charismatic way. Trump is not like that, and even when he became president, he still was the same vulgar person. And you know what? Like, I have way more respect for him being never changing who he is and his principles, um, after coming to office, and even after getting into office. Um, but this guy is not dangerous. The left wing media has done a really good job convincing us that he is. Done a really good job making us believe that every time he says something or he does something, it's bigoted, it's racist, it's all these other things, except just and taking the stuff that he says out of context. I just don't understand why they do it. Why they just do that? Like, just find someone that's more suitable to run and oppose him. It's as simple as that. But they can't even get that done, right? But war, man, the war right now. We have so many wars happening all over the world. Um, Europe, Asia, um, stuff that's happening in Africa as well. Even things that are happening this side of the world. And it's just some of these things were not happening under Trump. It's just no matter how you see it, and it's not about policies at this point. It's about having this stronghold over certain people. There's no reason why Ukraine and Russia should be at war right now. This is U.S. fault. Don't get me wrong. The Republican Party is to blame for this too, because people like Nikki Haley, who's a corrupt person, just as much as a lot of the Democratic Party. I'll say most of the Democratic Party believes in that war. I'm not gonna sit here and say all the Republican Party doesn't, but a lot of them do. I do not believe in the war in Ukraine and Russia. I think that was Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, one of the greatest salesmen that we've seen in the last 20 years. This man really had Kamala go to Ukraine, had a meeting with Kamala, go to Ukraine, when there was already threats with Russia saying, hey, if you do this, if you join NATO, I'm going to invade. I'm not joking around. I'm going to invade. Kamala went a couple days later, or maybe a week, or whatever the time frame was. Zelensky went ahead and said what he was going to do, try to join NATO, and boom, Russia invaded. Now we have war. We have thousands. If I'm not mistaken, millions, but I could be mistaken there. But thousands of people dying for what? For what? Because you wanted to join NATO? Like, let's be very honest. We all understand why Putin did it. Whether you agree with it or not, it is what it is. He's doing what he thinks is best for his country, and I can't even get upset for him for doing that. And Zelensky, this guy has stopped all elections in his country. This guy is another corrupt individual, and we're sending billions of dollars to a war at another country, another side of the world, because he wants to join NATO. Again, I'm simplifying the reason. I'm simplifying his reasons, but it's mostly because he wants to join NATO. And all the rest of the NATO countries, or rather, not the NATO, all the European countries have not contributed almost nothing to this war. We're sending $1 billion of aid. This guy keeps coming to the United States, and every single time he goes to the United States, he's getting billions of dollars. I just don't understand how the hell we're coughing up all this money and send it to a foreign country that has never done anything for us. Not really, anyway. And you want us all to believe that we should have some sort of sympathy towards them? Fuck that. Fuck him. Fuck him for putting his children, his men and women and children, going through all the stuff that they're going through. Ukraine is done. It's done. There's not going back to this. Like, at the best you can do is accept that whatever Putin has taken over in Ukraine, you're just gonna have to leave it at that. They've lost, and you can never get what they've lost back. And now it goes back to then it goes to the Israel and Palestine, and amongst other things. Like, to be honest, like, the Middle East has always been fucked up, but I do not agree with the Palestinian movement. These people, especially when it comes to queer for Palestine, guys, please, let's be very honest. A lot of you woke people would not be able to go to Palestine freely. You just wouldn't. You guys believe in democratic freedom and rights and human rights and women's rights and all this other crap. You guys won't have any of that shit if you went to Palestine. So I just don't understand. I think it's mind-boggling to think that you guys are supporting a group of people that really don't give a fuck about you. So that's where I stand with that. Like, there's a lot of terrorists in the Middle East, and they're gonna continue to be doing things that we want to, or rather, the left-wing media is going to create this narrative that they're all good people. They always bring up the children. They always bring up this, but they never want to bring up all the stuff that Hamas is doing. Never want to bring up why certain things moved, why certain things started. There's no accountability anywhere in any of this. And in war, it's not about good or bad anymore. It's not about being a good person or a bad person. It just isn't. So you can take that morality, throw that shit out the window, and be honest about what's going on. And you'll see that everyone is as corrupt as there is anywhere else in the world. So, war, I think if Trump was in the war and was a president, I just don't see some of those things happening. I just don't. And if some of those things were happening, I think he would execute it on things immediately. You see how open he is when he makes threats. How many times he made threats to the Iranian president? So, yo, bro, you come over here and test your weight, I'm gonna bomb your shit. He said that multiple times. I believe him. Joe Biden has been our president for all these years. I've seen Joe Biden more in the beach than I've seen him in the suit this year. This man he's been senile. Like, this guy's a senile. He's not competent. I don't know what the fuck we were doing voting for this guy. And then we go to the economy. Like, yeah, I understand that Obama was doing a really good job where he was bringing us back from the collapse in 2008. But Trump just stabilized everything. Like, he did it. It's not as if Trump created a lot of policies. He didn't. He didn't have to either. He understood the business behind certain things. Let's stop regulating, or rather, he started deregulating certain things so that businesses were able to flourish. And businesses tend to be the middle class. People were able to buy homes, and people were buying homes at a high level from 2016 to 2020. Even 2020 during COVID, people were buying homes, and I'm one of those people. And it goes to show you that when you have less government being involved, the certain areas, and you let local officials take care of those areas, the economy, the people, and the life, the I guess I wouldn't even know how to put this, but people just live better lives. We need to have less government interference, and what I mean by that is we need to stop allowing the government to try to solve every single problem, because they don't. The private sector is That's why the private sector is there. The private sector creates better jobs for people. They create better businesses, better lifestyles, better benefits, better everything. The private sector is what keeps the American economy flourishing. And when you start creating so many regulations and making it very difficult for small businesses to flourish, or the middle class to buy homes or make money out of it, then you fail. And that's what's happening right now. He doesn't even need a lot of policies. He just needs to make sure that we're making good deals. He's making sure that we create American industries are happening here. And don't get me wrong, it's not like he did all of that, because there's some other stuff that he did, but there's none of that with this guy, Biden and Harris. There's none. And this lady has no policy plan. She has none. She finally decided to make a couple put some of her policies on her website after like 2 months of running, and also running without actually being properly elected. She has not received one vote from 2020 to 2024 in her presidential run. She hasn't received one vote to get that nomination, and we've allowed her to become the nominee in the Democratic Party. That's fucking corrupt. I just can't understand how anyone right now can say, you know what, I've always voted for Kamala Harris. No, you did not. In 2020, when she got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard, I think that's how you pronounce her name, she got destroyed in the primary in the debate. She dropped out. She didn't even get a vote. She dropped out before she was eligible for people to vote for her. She dropped out, and somehow this unqualified person became the vice president. That's a clear DEI hire, and that's what we say when we use those terms. Like, guys, please, she does not deserve that position, and the fact that she's even running for president is just, I'm blown away how anyone could support her and her presidency. You can't. It just doesn't make sense. Like, we had an election, we had the DOP last year, and we had RFK, Newsom, and Biden. Newsom dropped out the moment there was no red wave last year, and then RFK was essentially forced out. So you had a guy that wasn't with this woke agenda nonsense, and he is a reasonable individual, and he was gonna have to go against Joe Biden, and they forced him out. They didn't offer certain civil service protections and things of that nature, which essentially forced him to run as an independent. And now he's endorsed Donald Trump, so he's no longer running. But this is what I'm saying, you guys. This is how corrupt it is. There was no campaigning done in the Democratic Party. There was none. Like, you had Newsom dropped out, RFK was forced out, and now you just had Biden. And or at least at that point, I guess I still was a registered Democrat, but we were okay with that. Like, what are we, fucking idiots? No, he has to earn our votes, and we've allowed him to get our votes, especially in the minority community, just because we're minorities. Like, we're moving like sheep. We're moving like fucking sheep. This guy and these people have not earned anything, and we've given it to them. And we've paid the price for that. How many small businesses shut down? Tell me, how many people can really sit here and say, I could buy a house this year? You better be making at least 6 figures. You better have a nice savings, and you better afford these high mortgages, because buying a house at these prices and interest rates being so high, what is that, 7? Good luck. Good fucking luck. And good luck dealing with that on top of your high ass student loans, because these people have made it extremely difficult for anyone to do anything, and to live comfortable lives. Like, So the economy, war are two of the biggest things I would say. And it's very important that we don't get any closer to World War III, and we're the closest we've been right now to World War III. And if the moment people like Putin, Xi Jinping, and this other dude, if the moment Russia, North Korea, and China decide they want to have a nuke war, that's it. Like it's not about right or wrong anymore. The world can end as we know it, and that's one of the scariest things ever. It's one of the scariest things that we should not overlook. If we get into a nuke war, we are going to be in trouble. Humanity as we know it is not going to be standing. And we cannot get to a point. We should not even be getting to this point. We've allowed Russia to get into China's hand, and China is our biggest adversary. And I'm not even getting into Taiwan as well, but we have to be very careful. Those are the two things that I know for the Biden administration has done a horrific job, and those are the two things that I'll say that Trump will guarantee, almost guarantee, or at least has a better chance of dealing with these issues and addressing them head on, as opposed to these other two clowns. And it's, again, I keep saying it's not about policy. Like, yes, policies are important, but I think policies are important when you need to create a law to fix a certain problem. But for the most part, problems can be fixed just by local government, working with their people and finding the needs and issues that they need to address and fixing that. It can be done. It's just a matter of looking at your budget. Stop fucking around with having all these jobs just to have jobs. That's another thing too. We have all these jobs, especially in California. The worst governor in the United States is Gavin Newsom, by far. It's not even close. And I know how much people hate DeSantis in Florida, but I tell you this, every single person that lives outside of any of those two states will not move to California. They will move to Florida because they are well protected. They have they can live more comfortably, and they don't have to deal with these nonsense issues that California is dealing with. People are leaving California. People are moving into Florida. Those are two different things. And freaking California, with all, like, how many jobs did they create for homelessness? How many jobs? How many jobs did they create to deal with the homeless crisis? And they still have more. It's almost as if you're creating an incentive to be homeless. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. People, these governments, when you over-govern, when you allow government to do certain things, they tend to create more problems than solve, and then come up with solutions. So you have more homelessness, and more homeless people in the streets, but you also have more jobs. so that's a trade-off. Well, you know what? Yeah, we have more homeless people in the streets, but you know what? At the very least, people have jobs. People have jobs. We created more jobs. We created 1 million extra jobs. Yeah, for a problem that you're not solving. And that's what it comes down to. These jobs are not to solve the problem. They're to create jobs that people can make money. How many businesses shut down with the minimum wage increase? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, the moment you allow government to establish certain laws, create these policies that fight for equal rights, you hurt the middle class. California, the moment they introduced the minimum wage, I think it went up to $20 or whatever it was, whatever the money was. It doesn't even matter what the money was. The moment that happened, how many small business restaurants closed down? They were shut down almost immediately. In a year, they've had hundreds, if not thousands, of small businesses in the state of California shut down because of the minimum wage. And I know people are going to say, oh, but Pedro, but you need... People, they deserve to make a lot of money. 100%, they do deserve to make more money. Work for it then. Work for it. Like, I don't want to hear this nonsense. Like, I don't want handouts. I'm Dominican, and there's no one in this world that has more pride in being Dominican than me. No, and anyone that knows me can say, like, yeah, like, he might say he's Dominican before he says his name when he introduces himself to someone. That's legit. That's legit. And I'm telling you right now, don't give me no fucking hands out. I want to earn everything that I have. Everything that's there, I want to earn it myself. Don't give me no handouts. If you want to make it harder for me, make it harder for me. Make it harder for me. Don't worry about it. I'll overcome that. That's the attitude that people need to have. And be more accountable with the shit that you be doing. And this is the problem. We want to have all these handouts. Oh, people need food stamps. No, people don't need food stamps. People need food stamps when they're going through something that's very difficult, and they need temporary assistance. And these are all these things like Section 8, food stamps, and some of these other um, socialist policies, they're good. They have their place. They have their place, and not saying that we should take them away. But they're there for temporary assistance, not permanent assistance. And how many people you know that are on food stamps that have never left? A lot, a lot. They're the problem. They're the problem. And when we look at these neighborhoods that have married the state or married the government, they always point the finger at, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing enough for me. Yeah, because you have never decided to overcome your situation so that you can have a better life. You know why? Because why would you work hard when your rent is paid for? You get food. Your children and and yourself are able to eat every single day. You're able to get educated for free. You're able to drive. You're able to do so many things. Why would you work? What is the incentive for you to work? And this goes now. This goes to the other thing. My another point is culture, right? Culture, war, and money, economy. The reason why we have crimes, it's not because of poor people. Poor people and crime does not correlate with each other, right? They do cross over with each other, but crime does not come because people are poor. Okay, it does not. It's due to culture and values and responsibility. People do not respect authority. I just don't understand. I would never talk back to a teacher. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I've never been tempted, or maybe I've said maybe a comment, but I would never dare to talk back to teacher, because if I got home and my parents found out that I said something nasty to a teacher, I was more afraid of my parents than I was to the teacher. I didn't even live with my father, but the fear that I would have got for saying something, giving a smirk remark to a teacher, I wouldn't want to see him that next time. I'll probably fucking hide from him, because that guy probably would have beat the shit out of me. Just like how parents should beat the shit out of some of these kids. These kids are, what the hell's wrong with them? Like our generation has failed as parents. We failed. We've made these children soft. We have not allowed them to freaking earn anything. These guys believe that they just deserve everything. I don't understand. What is this new generation of like these weak-minded individuals? Don't get me wrong, that's not everybody, of course, right? But it's like these kids believe that they deserve to have income. They deserve to buy a house. They deserve to open a business. No, you don't deserve shit. You have to earn it. This world is not free. It's not for the weak. You cannot expect to get something just because your name, just because you're a woman or a man, or gay or a trans. No, you fucking go out there and you earn it. No excuses. You gotta go out there and earn it, because the world is not easy, and you cannot expect that just because your mom gave you everything that you ever wanted, that the rest of the world is gonna do the same thing. No, they're not gonna do the rest of the same thing. No one gives a fuck about you. No one's ever gonna give a fuck about you. You have to go out there, work your ass off, and get what you think you deserve. You have to earn it. And this culture of this entitlement that we have in this next generation, and it doesn't even go. It also extends to, what are we doing now? We have this whole transgender movement. Like, bro, adults, do whatever the fuck you want. I'll be honest. Like, do whatever you want. But don't start forcing me to call you they, dumb, he, she. I'm gonna call you how I see it. You're a man or you're a woman. I'm sorry. I just don't feel bad for you. If you have mental issues, you have mental issues. Deal with them. Deal with them however you think fit, as long as you're not hurting anyone else and forcing anyone else to respect these pronouns. I'm not gonna start. We should not be forced to use these mental illness words so that you can feel better about yourself. How about you just try to feel better about yourself? How about that? That's the solution. That's the solution. Maybe if you love yourself more, you don't need to care. You wouldn't need to want me to respect you as a he, they, bullshit, all this nonsense. You wouldn't need to. You know why? Because you love yourself. And if you love yourself, it doesn't matter what people would say about you. I honestly don't care. I'm bald. I'm 20. I got bald when I was 23, 24, whatever it was. I love that stuff. I'm bald. You know how many times I've been told, like, oh, maybe you should get a transplant to get hair. Bro, that's how I'm bald. This is what I was given. This is what I was dealt with. I'm bald. I'm happy and I love myself. And I see it as, if anything, I see it as more of a positive. I never have to spend money going to get a haircut anymore. You know what I mean? I can just have my wife cut my hair, or I could do it myself. And that's it. I had to travel, get a haircut. If I travel, I do it myself, or I have my wife do or I just pay for it. It's just, you have to accept what you're dealt with, and love yourself for it. And this whole transgender movement around the kids is the issue. It's not about the adults. The adults are going to do whatever they're going to do, and fine, as long as they're not hurting anyone else. But we're given a whole month for sexuality, which is Pride Month. Pride is sexuality. That's what it is. And what I mean by sexuality is, pride means gay for the most part, right? It means being gay, being sexually attractive to the same sex. Okay, why are we celebrating sex for a whole month? That's what it is. That's what pride stands for. And this is not saying that, oh, you're being homophobic. No. You could be gay. Be gay. Just do it over there. Just like I don't want to see two women or two grown ass men kissing. Just like I don't want to see another grown ass man and a woman kissing each other either. I don't want to see that shit. Keep that shit in private. That belongs behind closed doors. But why did we just give a whole month to these people? And it's about sex. It's about sex. That's what pride is. It's about sexuality. Why did we give a whole month to these people? I don't understand it. I might even accept a day. And that's a lot, because sex is not something we should be celebrating as a national holiday, especially something that you put around kids. And that's the problem, is that we're starting to allow these transgender ideology and this gay culture around children. We have more gay children now than ever before. At this point, by 20, I don't know, maybe the next 100 years, more than 50% of the population might be gay. Like that. This is what the trend that we're heading. Like what? Why is it? Why can't you just be gay? Like, no one is saying you have to be straight. Maybe they're not. Maybe some people might not accept that you're gay because of, some of the issues that you might deal with. But why is it that you have to be gay? Like, let's encourage more people to be gay. No, don't encourage more people to be gay. Let people become who they want. Let people experience certain things and make the decision as they get older. To think that there's transgenders children out there in the world, those parents are evil. They're pure evil. There should be no transgenders children. There should be no doctor accepting the surgery, the castration of children. Accepting these the surgeries to do that. Like, boys are boys, girls are girls. That's it. There's only two genders. Let's stop this nonsense. Let's stop encouraging more mental illness. I don't want to hear my job telling me, and they have, and just like, and especially in the medical industry, man, in the medical industry, you have to know how to talk to, imagine you're in a fertility clinic and you have to know how to talk to a man who's trying to go to a fertility clinic as a woman and trying to get pregnant. You're not going to get pregnant, my dude. Like, why are you here? You know you're not going to get pregnant. And I know it sounds like I'm an asshole about it, but you know what? This is why when I hear Trump talk and people say, "Oh, this guy has dangerous rhetoric." Does he really? Because he's saying exactly what we all think. He's just saying it out loud. He's saying it out loud. His honesty I respect his honesty, even if he sounds like an idiot sometimes. I respect his honesty more than I don't. I respect his honesty more than anything. Like, these people want him to behave a certain way. Why? Why does he have to behave that way? He doesn't have to behave any way. So leave the kids alone, guys. Leave that whole LGBTQ plus whatever they are. Leave the kids alone. You need a term gay. I know that it's important for you guys, but you guys already get a month. You guys get more than Black Americans. You guys get more than Black History Month, which is fucking crazy. It's crazy to think that we're in a situation where pride, people can celebrate sex. They're celebrating their sexuality more than and they're a minority more than other people that deserve it. I'm blown away at the fact that this is a reality, and this is where we're at right now. And you have states like California who children children, if a school decides, and this is California, because Gavin Newsom, the worst fucking governor in this country, really has passed laws that a school does not have to inform their parents that the child has decided to call herself another gender or use a different pronouns. Stop that. Stop that. Parents have more rights than any school unless they're hurting the child. That's just how it is. And that's how it always should be. Let parents decide what's best for their children. Government should not dictate how parents raise their children. They should not, unless there's some criminal or some sort of abuse that's happening with the child. That's the only time they should step in. But if we start allowing the government to replace the parents, we do not have a country. And going to the culture, we see how all these issues that we're having in criminality. The nuclear family is one of the most fundamental things that every household needs. And if you look at all the criminals in the world, or at least most of them, they always grew up, and I'm sorry, not in the world, in the United States, all the criminals in the United States that are out there being delinquents, you can see that they grew up in a single family home. And that is because we've created, as a government, as a nation, we've created this incentive that mothers do not need fathers in their home. Why would they? Because if they're a single mother, they're eligible for certain social programs, and now they're fed, their rents are paid, they're able to go to school. What is the incentive to keeping the father in the home? And and I know this is gonna be, but it's because estos hombres son un mujeriego and all this other stuff. Yes, I understand those things happen, and they do. But let's be very honest here. We need to create a culture, or bring back the culture. And this is why conservative values are way better than liberal values when it comes to this stuff. Because conservatives believe in the nuclear family. They believe in marriage. They believe in children being raised by the mom and dad. They believe in, yes, they have the religion values, and some of those religious values could go a long way, and they do go a long way. That's something the left has done a really good job trying to separate the church and the state, and I think that there should be some separation to some extent. But the morality behind the church is very important. I think a lot of it's so fundamental for humans to follow that the left would completely close off any of those things just because it's the church. And the nuclear family has been the left has tried to destroy a lot of it. This whole women rights movement, listen, my wife is more independent and my mother is more independent than any other woman I know. But I tell you this much, they're happier being with a man. When you guys start saying, oh, we don't need a man, you don't need this, stop that. Men never speak like this. We know we need women. We know we need women in our lives. We know that when we have women in our life, our lives are easier. We love women for that. We love that they're catered to us. We love that they're nurturing, that they're caring. We love that. Why are you women so, and this, or not you women, but this whole woman pride movement are so anti-men? You guys all love us. You might as well stop playing this game and act as if like you guys don't need us. And when you guys have that mentality later on, and you're seeing a lot of liberals get into their 30s, single woman, no kids, no marriage, and look what they're saying. They're like, yo, I'm actually depressed. I'm depressed. I think I was lied to. I was tricked. And that's how I feel about the Democratic Party. They lied to me. They tricked me. They made me feel like a sheep. And that's why we all fucking left, or at least we're leaving. And I just can't see myself. The left has created this culture of LGBT. The LGBT community has more rights than any other people. I guarantee you, any minority group, it doesn't matter who it is, if you are anti this group, or you have an issue with any of these groups, I can guarantee you're gonna experience cancel culture immediately. That's guaranteed. We've created this destruction of the nuclear family, and if we look at The people that have the most success are people that grew up with both the parents in the household. We have to get back to that because that's very important. If both parents are not in the household, it makes it very difficult for a child to grow up and have the right things in order. It's very important. Um, and um, and then the education system, like the way that we're changing history. And I don't even want to get to that because that we're changing history. We're legit changing history. We're changing how we see things. And and then we could talk about the border crisis, like the border crisis in the United States. Yo, I'm blown away that illegal immigrants are schools, libraries, gyms, these different facilities that are used for communities have been taken away from us and given it to illegal immigrants. I can't understand that. I don't understand how you can really sit here and say that illegal immigrants are are higher priority than your own citizens. That's the left. Seriously, that's the left. Texas kept fighting, kept asking for Congress, kept asking for Harris and Brother Biden. Oh, by the way, that's Harris's doing. Harris was the border Caesar. What is it? Whatever it is called, border Corsor or whatever it is. That was her job. She's failed miserably. In the 4 years Biden has been the vice president, she's decided to go to the border this week, first time, and it was her job. And when she was facing the interview of how many times you go to the border, she said, "Well, I never been to Europe." What? Or whatever she said. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Your job is the border. You were given that job. You were given that task. Do your job. Just do your job. We have so many illegal crossings, and you think and you think that it's only South American countries. There are European countries, Middle Asian countries, and African countries that are coming all the way from that side of the world to go to South America, end up in Mexico, and then cross the border. What the fuck are we doing? We have so many illegals in this country, and now, oh well, you can't call them illegals. They're here on a visa now. No, they're not. They're seeking asylum. Come on. Why do we always have to use these terminologies so that people can feel better? Like these stigmas. Like, guys. When you come here illegally, you're a criminal. It is against the law to come here illegally. Okay? And I know, oh, they're coming because they're going through political persecution. Guys, come on. Please, guys, come on. Let's stop the narrative behind that. I know there are certain things that happen in some of these countries, but come on. You're just using that as an excuse to get these people to come in, put them in certain towns that might be red so that you can get a nice blue city. That's just what's happening. California has, as of I think a couple of days ago or yesterday, California has, or again, Gavin Newsom figures. California has already established a new law that you don't need a license to vote. I can't believe it. Like, just imagine. Like, I wish when I was 18 and I went to a liquor store, I can go in there with my license. I can go there and buy alcohol, even though I was underage, and say, "Well, you can't check my ID. That's racist." This is what you're saying. You can't. You need to check ID to travel. You need to check ID to go to and to get a drink at a place. You need to check ID to go to certain places. You need to check ID to file some documents, but you can't. But you don't need an ID to vote. I just don't understand. This is the Democratic Party for you. They've given more rights to illegals than they have to their own citizens, or rather, they're favoring these people than they are their own citizens. And I just don't get it. Like, I don't get how we can continue to vote blue. Like, it just doesn't. And like how, and kind of going back to the culture, right? We talk about, do you guys, people don't like using these words illegal, so they use undocumented. I mean, that's equivalent to like these movements of pedophiles, okay? Pedophiles, one of the most evil human beings in the world, group of people in the world, pedophiles are being called child attractive person. Child attractive person. Why are you trying to dehumanize these people? They are criminals. They are monsters. They are pedophiles. Stop, LGBTQ plus whatever you guys are. Stop. Woke. Stop. 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 They are pedophiles. That's what they are. That's what they should be named and called. And we should not be dehumanizing these people just because it's a bad label. No, they're not child attractive person. They're pedophiles. They're monsters. They're fucking terrible human beings, and we should not be protecting these people. The transgender surgery, these immigrant transgender surgery that Harris has in her policy. I just can't. So, like, I could keep going more deeper into this, but look, I'll wrap this up with this. When it comes to Trump and Harris, I voted for Biden in 2020 just to not have Trump in office, because I've put my faith and trust and loyalty to the left-wing media, because they knew what was best for me. Boy, was I wrong. And you know, I've talked to some people how easy it was for me to transition from being a Democratic Party to the Republican Party. You know how easy it was? It's as simple as investing, how I see it. And I know it's very difficult because people have Trump derangement syndrome, and people just can't. They can agree with everything that he's doing, but just can't agree with him because of who he is as a person. And that's just a fundamental flaw that we have as people, human beings. But you have to overcome that and overlook that and just say with your chest. I'm saying with your chest, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Donald Trump. And how I was able to transition, it was very simple. I looked at the things, and mostly because of Vivek Ramaswamy, was one of the first persons that I saw out there that spoke a certain way. He introduced me to he essentially had a certain message in one of the podcasts that I watched, which was called the All In Podcast. It's a business podcast. I heard what he had to say, and I'm like, okay, I like what he had to say. I went into the I went to the Republican Party. I met with other Republicans. I went to a couple of meetings with Republicans, and all this image, the narrative, the propaganda that was spewed all these years about the Republicans being racist, bigots, and all the other things. Oh man, whoa, that was such a lie. Man, I really believed, even in my late 20s, that if you're a Republican, you're a racist. I believe that, like, or you had certain, to some extent, you were prejudiced to some extent. Boy, I was wrong. And I have no shame to admit that I was wrong. I could say it with my chest. I was wrong about the Republican Party. And then when you really look back at my life, and I look back at my life, man, the group of people that was most prejudiced or racist towards me were not white people. They were not. Don't get me wrong. There's quite a few that were like that, but they were not. Majority were not. And they were all Democrats. So, it goes to show you that just because you're associated with a party does not stop you from being a terrible human being. And then when you meet some of these people on the right, you realize actually they're not what we thought they were. They're just regular human beings with strong values, and you tend to respect them for that. But like it goes to show you, like, sometimes when we are married to a party, we just can't allow ourselves to have an open mind to the opposing party. And the party of racists is the Democratic Party. There are more racists in the Democratic Party than there are in the Republican Party. I can attest to that for sure. And if you don't agree, I've disagreed with some conservatives, and I've never felt them saying like I'm a bigot, I'm wrong for this, I'm all these other things. I've said one thing: about one person in the Republican Party, and I got looked a certain way. And I'll be honest, even I did in the past, where I look at you and be like, yo, bro, you're a dumbass for voting for Trump. Boy, how ignorant was I, right? Um, and and then when you really look at it, you think that Trump says all these things, and he's a danger to society, and then the media takes certain things out of context, and then and spews it as like a way to kind of paint Trump as more of a villain or some sort of evil dictator or Hitler, as they say it now. Oh man. You see that, and then you look at it, and then you're like, yo, let me go back in that video and let me go back to that speech and really see what he says. And all you have to do is watch the next 30 seconds of the clip that they took, and you'll see that the left wing media, CNN, ABC, MSNBC, how they take these things out of context, and they do a really good job. And now you look at this, and I'm like, all these years I was voting as a Democrat. I was lied to. I was tricked, and this is not the party that I thought it was. Nor do they have the values that I thought that they had. They didn't fight for things. Minorities have been Democratic parties for all these years, and yet they're still in the same shitty situation they've been all these years. So clearly, it's not working. But I was, I've been rambling on. This is a long video, but when you look at, right now we're faced with a situation where people are agreeing more with what the right has to say than they are with the left, but they just can't get themselves because it's Trump. It's Trump again. Trump derangement syndrome. It's a real thing. It actually makes people crazy. Just imagine. I've never been in a situation where I agree with someone so much, but I can never like them. I mean, but I don't want to say it out loud because I don't like who they are as a person or what they stand for. Stop that. Push that aside. It's as easy as investing. Investing is very hard. Investing is very hard, right? And it's hard because of this, not because of this. This is the easy part. This is the hard part. People always are afraid to take the chance or the risk of investing on a property or some sort of business or a deal or whatever it is that you're investing in. And they have the capital for it, but they don't do it because once they're about to do it, they're afraid of possibly losing everything. So their fear of failing stops them from investing in an opportunity that probably would have made their life better in a couple of years. And then they look back a couple of years and like, oh shit, I passed on the opportunity. I could have been in a better situation. But at that time, I was unsure. Well, you're always going to be unsure. You're always going to be unsure. And that's one thing that made me switch over to the Republican Party so fast is because it was easy. I don't have this fear of failing. I don't have this this thing of this mentality of like this guy, he poses as a danger. He represents some sort of danger. I mean, if he did, then why weren't we in a dangerous situation? Or why did our lives feel better when we were under his presidency for those 4 years than prior or after? That's just how I see it. And then you look at what he says, and you look at the entire videos or entire speeches of what Donald Trump says, and you see that it's not what we've been told, or the propaganda behind it. It's not like how it is. And it was easy. It was easy to be like, you know what? No, these people are the bad ones. These people are the bad ones. It's not these people. It's these people. This guy's not saying that. This guy's not saying these things. He's not representing these things. Yes, there are idiots. There are bad people on both sides. Of course, there is. But for the way I look at it, I see socialist, Marxist, racist, homophobic people on the left more than I see on the right. Anti-church and the religion. Religion is very important too. But they just want to demolish religion altogether. They don't want religion to exist. They don't. If I'm a religious guy, they have a problem with me. But you could be a gay guy in this party, in the Republican Party, and they won't bother you. You could be a religious guy on the left, and they will bother you. They will look at you a certain way. They won't have the same respect for you as a human being. The left is anti-democratic. They just are. And it's embarrassing that we can vote for a lady that's getting all these softball questions, and she can't even answer a simple question about economy because she's worked in the public sector for so long. She has no idea how to make money. People in the private sector understand. That's why the more government interference we have with solving problems, the more issues we have. The more we have to allow the private sector to solve problems that the government cannot, and they cannot solve a lot of problems. You see a guy like Elon Musk, SpaceX is better than NASA. That's crazy. SpaceX has been around for what, 10 plus years? NASA's been around for decades. He surpassed them in 1 decade. That's crazy. And the efficiency that his spacecrafts are landing and moving, it's amazing. He's also given internet access to everywhere in the world. This guy has towers all over the world. You want to have internet in the middle of nowhere in the Amazon rainforest? Don't worry, you just gotta travel with this suitcase, and now you're gonna go. That's just amazing. Government would never be able to solve that problem. So you need entrepreneurs. You need more of the middle class to create these ideas, to build these products, and solve problems for the masses. But the socialists on the left, they don't want that. They don't want billionaires. Billionaires pay, and then it goes back to the taxes, guys. The bottom 50% of the people in the United States pay for 2% of taxes. The top 50% pay for 97% of the taxes. The 1% pay for like more than, I think about half of the taxes that we get. And you guys want to tax them more. How about you work harder and make your life easier? Why do we need to keep taxing the rich? I don't understand. And the rich is the ones that are supporting the left. It's like you say the cliche saying, the saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. But the left gets more funding by the 1% than the right. And the left is the one that's trying to get them to pay more taxes. It doesn't even make sense. You know what's happening? They're not paying more taxes. Or if they are, they have some sort of loophole. They're making some money somewhere else because of some other policy that the left has created that allows them to make more money despite them having to pay more taxes. Bro, I want less taxes. Everyone wants less taxes. And we look back at why taxes were created, and it was around World War One, I believe. You look into that, what the reason why, what they were. And I don't want to get into that right now. But if you look into the reason why they were, we don't have those problems. But now we use them. So every single time we create some sort of legislation, law or rule or whatever, those are supposed to be temporary solutions, and now we just keep them as a permanent thing, and then we start creating more and more. Just like the public education. The public education is fucking terrible. We need to Vivek Ramaswamy is perfect for this, and he said it perfect. The FBI, public education system, they need to go. Let the local states and the cities educate their children where they think they see fit, and let's stop allowing that the government interfere with some of these things. And I can get into details with some of these things I'm saying. You don't have to agree with everything I'm saying, guys. And actually, I'm definitely looking forward to friends and family who would like to challenge me and have an open conversation, because I love that. Open conversation about anything I'm saying. But I can get into, I've spent the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, getting heavy into politics and business. And the more I learn about the right and look at the left and what I'm seeing from them, there's no way in hell I can vote for these people. These people are criminals, and they're making us look like idiots. And continue to follow them. Feel free. It's your vote at the end of the day. But I don't want to hear people in the middle or these independents. Oh, I don't know. Like, I might not vote for any of these people. You're full of shit. You have no balls. You have no chest. You're a coward. And I'll call every single person out, whether they're going to vote Republican or Democratic. You guys are all fucking cowards. You vote, you're going to vote. People fought and died for your vote. It's a privilege to be able to vote in this country. And you're going to sit here and say, oh, I don't want to vote for them because if I vote, definitely not going to vote for Kamala, but I can't get myself to vote for Trump. Do you hear yourself? Vote for Trump. Vote for Trump if you feel like you want to vote for him. Stop that. Stop that. Like, you are privileged to be able to have this vote. We out here having these debates about whether we're going to vote for this guy or not just because of what he stands for. Please stop that. Get over your feelings. Get over your feelings. Grow a pair and be honest about why you're voting for this person. You're voting for this person because of the things that he's going to do for you to improve your life. It's just how it is. It doesn't matter how you see it. It doesn't matter if he's an asshole. He can be an asshole. But is he going to make your life better? Yes. Vote for him. If he's going to make your life worse and he's a good person, don't vote for him. You see what I'm saying? I don't care if he's a good person or a bad person at this point. I care what he's going to do for me. Is he going to make my life better? Yes. I'm going to go for it. Is he going to make my life worse? Bye-bye. He's not. He doesn't have my vote. That's it. People in the middle are more cowards. I respect people on the left, even if they are bigots and doing all this stupid nonsense. Then I do respect people in the middle, and the people in the middle are the most cowards out of out of both of these groups. Independents. RFK ran as independent. Now they're all Republicans. He's endorsed. They endorsed Trump. So let's guys, stop it. It's almost like you're afraid of having the stigma of, hey, if I'm red, so that means that you're this, or that. No, it doesn't mean that. I don't agree with everything in the Republican Party. I just don't. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't have to. I don't have to agree with everything my wife says either. You know what I mean? So, let's stop that. You're voting red or you're voting blue. It's as simple as that. If there's some places that you want to vote red, and then other places you want to vote blue, do it. Just spend your time doing research on each candidate and what changes they're trying to fight for and how they're going to do it. Because it's one thing for them to say something. It's another thing to understand what impact it's going to have in other areas. And let me just say, every single time, I keep saying this, every single time there's more government interference, it makes it work. It creates more problems than it solves problems. And you see that. You see it. So if you see Kamala making these policies that she just created about, I'm going to create these, I'm going to give more incentives I'm going to give $25,000 for people to buy houses. Just look at the outlines of certain things, not just a policy that you can pull up on I think it's some sort of Washington D.C. You can always look up all their policies and the laws or the writings of those policies. It's easy to find, but what impact is going to have on certain other things? Like, is it going to increase the housing market? Now that millions of people are able to have $25,000 to invest, is it? It might. And if it does, are you going to still be able to afford that house? Nope. Why? Because they gave you free money, the cost of goods increased. Inflation. And again, I'm not no expert or anything like that, but damn, I'm just not a fucking idiot. That's what I'll say. And again, I actually cursed a lot in this video. I didn't want to, but if anyone wants to have an open conversation about why I'm voting for Trump, and I cannot get myself to vote for this lady, these are some of the you can use this video, or if it's split up into different videos as an outline as to why I'm doing it. And I'm very open. Like, I have no shame. Or rather, I'm very open to any conversation or back and forth about why I'm voting for these people. And maybe my views on the Democratic Party is wrong. Go ahead, prove me wrong after the debate and the conversation. And if people who are afraid or who want to ask more questions why you should vote for the right or Trump and his policy, feel free to hit me up, because I can outline a list of things that they'll do that they can make your life better. And then those, I know I'm going to get some negative people, like friends and family, who are unwilling to accept what I'm saying. Then, if you guys hate me for it, then, you hate me for it. It is what it is. That's not going to stop me. Like, I'm not afraid of having a conversation, whether it's friends and family, that I'm going to vote red or blue. I'm just not. And if you have friends and family that you can't have an open conversation with those people, then they're not your friends and family. There's just people that that don't really love you.